Hi, we know that a capacitor stores electric energy by separating charges. But what is the formula for the energy stored in a capacitor? That's exactly what I'm going to derive now. Instead of starting with a capacitor, I'm going to make it a little more general and we're going to look at this box. Now this box could be a capacitor, but it could also be a resistor, it could be a diode, it could be a battery, it could be any electrical element. Okay? The charge is going to enter this way. So this is the entry point A and the charge will come out of this box this way. And so that is the exit point B. At the entry, the potential is VA and at exit, the potential is VB. When charge Q comes into the entry point, it has energy Q times VA. When the same charge goes through the box and comes out of the exit, it has energy Q times VB. So the energy with which the charge came in is different from the energy with which it is going out. So let us say that the charge has lost energy. But you know that energy conservation principle tells us that energy is not really lost. So if the charge is losing energy, something else must gain energy. So that means the box is getting that energy. So the energy lost by the charge is equal to the energy supplied to the box. So how much energy is supplied to the box? QVA minus QVB. That is the energy lost by the charge. That is the energy supplied to the box. So Q times VA minus VB. VA minus VB is VAB, the drop in the potential from entry to exit. So from A to B, the potential drop is VAB. So charge that is flowing through the box into the potential drop from the entry point to the exit point, that is the energy supplied to the box. This box, what can it be? Well, it can be a battery, it can be a resistor, it can be any electrical device. Okay? And here we are talking about the energy supplied to the box. The symbol for energy is capital U. So I'm going to say the energy supplied to the box, capital U. How much is it? It is the charge that is flowing in Q times the potential drop. So the potential drop is V. So Q times potential drop, Q times V. Okay. Please remember the potential drop is from the entry point to the exit point. So that is the direction in which you must take the potential drop. And charge times potential drop is the energy supplied to the box. Now, when we talk about resistors, when we talk about diodes, you can say, how much energy is being supplied to the resistor or to the diode. But when we talk about batteries, here also you can say how much energy is being supplied to the battery, but often we are interested in the energy supplied by the battery. So if you are interested in the energy supplied by the box, not to the box, that means we are changing this, we must also change that. So energy supplied by the box will be the charge into the potential rise instead of the potential drop. That's all. Here we are looking at the entry point to exit point, potential drop. What is potential drop? Initial minus final. What will be potential rise? Final minus initial. So if you want the energy supplied by a box, it is charge into potential rise from entry to exit. If you want to look at the energy supplied to the box, it is charge into potential drop again from the entry to the exit. Keep that in mind. Okay, now you might be saying, we started out with capacitors. We are really talking about energy stored in a capacitor. I have given all these elements, but there is no capacitor. Why have I not marked a capacitor? Doesn't this formula work for a capacitor? The problem is when we are talking about Q into potential drop, right? Q into V, there is an inherent assumption here that this potential drop will remain constant as the charge flows through. So this is only valid if the potential drop is constant. See, this charge Q, it had Q times VA, and when it went this way, this was Q times VB. These VA and VB values, right? We are assuming that they will remain constant as the charge flows. So we are assuming that V is going to remain constant. When V is constant, then you can say that the energy supplied to the box U is Q times the potential drop, but that only works if V is constant. So why not use that for a capacitor? The problem is when the charge comes into a capacitor, what is the potential drop across a capacitor? It is Q by C. right? So as charge comes in, the Q is changing. And when Q is changing, the V is changing. So for a capacitor that is charging, the V keeps changing. And if V keeps changing, I cannot use this formula. So then how do I find out what is the energy formula for a capacitor? Let us derive that now. We know that if I take any electrical element represented by this box and we send a charge Q through it, then the energy supplied to the box is Q times V, where V is the potential drop from the entry point to the exit point. Let us use this formula to find out what must be the energy stored in a capacitor. I'm going to take an uncharged capacitor. So this is initially uncharged. So the potential drop across it is 0. Now, if I send all the charge in, as the charge comes in, the potential drop will change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the total charge I'm going to send in into tiny pieces. Each piece is a dq. It is so tiny that when the first dq comes in, this potential drop does not change significantly. But as you keep sending dq after dq after dq, the charge builds up here and the potential drop will change. Okay? So finally, this has a charge of q. So when the last dq is coming in, the potential drop is no longer 0. The potential drop is V, which is equal to Q by C. So this is the final potential drop. The initial potential drop is 0. The final potential drop is V. Okay, so if I want to use this formula, that the energy supplied to the box is Q times V, should I use this V or should I use that V? Should I write that the energy supplied to the capacitor is Q times 0, or should I say it is Q times V? Actually, neither, because this formula only works when the potential drop is constant. Here, as the charge comes in, you know that the potential drop is clearly changing, right? In the beginning it is 0, finally it is V. Clearly it is not constant. So then what do I do? Well, we can use this formula, but instead of using V, we will use average potential drop. So we can say that the energy supplied to the capacitor is Q times average potential drop. What is the average potential drop? Initial potential drop is 0. Final potential drop is V. So average potential drop must be 0 plus V by 2. Okay. So Q times 0 plus V by 2. What is this V by 2? Q times V by 2, half QV. Where do you get that half from? The half comes in because when we use average potential drop, initially it is 0, finally it is V. The average is half times V, and that's where that half comes from. Okay? Instead of being Q times V, it is half Q times V because it's Q times average potential drop. Remember that the potential drop is changing as the charge keeps coming in. Okay? So Q times V average is half Q times V. Okay. Now Q is CV. So if I substitute CV here, I'll get half CV into V, half CV square. So that's another way to write the formula for the energy of this capacitor. Yet another way to write it, V is Q by C. If I substitute Q by C here, I'll get Q square by 2C. So that is the third way to write it. So U capacitor is half QV, half CV square, Q square by 2C. Three different ways to write the same formula. Okay. Now we are talking about the energy supplied to this box. So here also this must mean energy supplied to the capacitor. Usually when we supply energy to a resistor, what happens? The resistor dissipates it as heat. So you can't really say that the energy is stored in the resistor because the resistor is actually sending it outwards as heat. But with a capacitor it's very different. The capacitor is not dissipating it. The energy supplied to a capacitor can be recovered. So instead of saying it is dissipated, we say it is stored. So we call this U cap as the energy stored in the capacitor. So energy stored in the capacitor is half Q into V. Another way to write it is half CV square. The third way to write it is Q square by 2C. This is a super important formula. So you need a proper proof for this. Let us now look at deriving this formally. Let us now formally prove the formula for the energy stored in a capacitor. I'm going to look at a capacitor that has some intermediate charge Q. Now, at this point, when it has charge small q, the potential drop across it will be Q by C. I'm now going to bring a small, tiny amount of charge dq. This is a really small charge, so it does not significantly change the potential drop. So we can treat the potential drop as being constant. That means we can say charge times the potential drop is the energy supplied. This is the incremental energy supplied. So when we bring this additional dq, the energy increases by du, which is V times dq, or Q by C times dq. Okay, now remember that this is du, this is the incremental energy. If I want the total energy stored in the capacitor, I must add this up from the beginning till the end. So the total energy stored in the capacitor is integral of du from initial to the final time, which basically means you are integrating from 0, the charge being 0, to the charge being the final charge q, Q by C dq. 1 by C is of course a constant, you can pull it out. Q dq integral will give us q square by 2. So 1 by C times q square by 2 from 0 to capital Q. Substitute capital Q, you are going to get capital Q square by 2C. 0, this is going to give you 0. So I'm going to get q square by 2C. Now that is the same as this one. So we have now proved that the energy stored in the capacitor is capital Q square by 2C, the final charge square by 2C. And from that you can of course derive all this by substituting Q equal to CV. You will get the rest of it. So we have now derived the formula for the energy stored in a capacitor. Don't worry about the proof, but remember the formula for the energy stored in a capacitor. We are going to use this quite a lot.